Okay, so you've probably heard the term AI model thrown around a lot lately. It's in the news, it's powering the tech on your phone, it's pretty much at the center of every conversation about artificial intelligence.
But let's be honest, it's one of those terms we all kind of nod along to, but if someone put you on the spot and asked you to explain it, you might pause for a second, right?
You see the headlines all the time, announcing some new, super powerful model that can write code or create these unbelievable images or chew through mountains of data.
And the wild part is you're already using them constantly, whether you know it or not. They are humming away in the background of so many things we do every single day.
So, let's do this. Let's finally pull back the curtain and get a really clear, simple look at what an AI model actually is. No jargon, I promise. Just a straightforward explanation.
All right, let's start with the simplest definition we can.
At its heart, that's really it. An AI model is a computer program, but instead of being told exactly what to do, it has learned a specific skill by looking at tons and tons of examples. It's basically the brain that you get at the end of a long training process.
And this is a really key idea. It's not like old-school software that just follows a giant list of if this, then that rules, written by a programmer. Nope. It develops its own kind of intuition by spotting these incredibly deep patterns in all the data it studies.
Now, to make this really click, let's use an analogy that I think we can all get our heads around.
Think about how a person becomes a doctor. They go to medical school for years, right? They read countless textbooks, and then they see thousands of real patients. Over time, they develop this expert intuition for diagnosing illnesses. Well, an AI model's training is a lot like that. It studies millions of examples. Those are its textbooks and patient cases, and it keeps adjusting its internal settings until it gets really good at its specific job. The end result? A qualified AI model, ready to go to work.
So all that stuff it learns from? That's called training data. For a model that understands images, its training data might be millions of labeled pictures. For a language model, it's a massive library of books, articles, and websites. That's the raw material for its expertise.
And here is a super important point. When you ask an AI a question, it's not just doing a quick search in a giant database for a pre-written answer. It's actually generating a response based on the patterns it learned during all that training. It's applying its expertise, just like a doctor making a diagnosis based on years of experience.
Okay, I know this can still feel a bit abstract, so let's look at where these AI models are already showing up in things you use every single day.
You know your email spam filter? That's an AI model that's been trained to spot all the patterns of junk mail. When your phone's camera can find all the faces in a group photo? Yep, that's an image recognition model at work. And in hospitals, specialized models are getting really good at helping doctors spot early signs of disease in X-rays. Each one is a trained specialist for its own little task.
So why does any of this actually matter to you? Well, because understanding what a model is and what it isn't helps you become a much smarter user of AI.
What's the main takeaway from all this? It's really about understanding their limitations. First, models are specialists. A language model that's great at writing emails can't drive a car. An image model can't write you a poem. And, maybe more importantly, a model is only as good as the data it was trained on. If it learned from outdated info, its knowledge is going to be outdated. And if that training data was biased or had blind spots, well, the model will have those exact same biases and blind spots.
And that leads to the most powerful tool you now have. The next time you're using any kind of AI, you can ask some really sharp questions. Questions like, what was this model actually trained on? When did it learn all this stuff? And who trained it? Just knowing to ask those questions gives you so much context. It helps you understand the tool's strengths, its weaknesses, and it moves you from just being a passive user to a really informed one.
So the next time you use an AI tool, just remember, you're not talking to some magical, all-knowing box. You're interacting with a highly trained but very specialized and limited model. And you know what? Knowing that, well, it changes everything.